Welcome everyone to another episode of the Book of Boba Fett After Show here on Rhodian Radio. We'd like to appreciate everybody for tuning in. If this is your first time checking us out, make sure you follow us on our social medias. We're on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. You can find us wherever you get your podcast. Don't forget, if we can get 100 subscribers on our YouTube, we will be giving away one of our Rhodian Radio Wolfpack hoodies. You can find those on our Instagram if you want to see what those look like. I'm working on a new merchandise item that I don't really want to talk about right now because I've just got the design of it done, so it's not really even been developed. But when those come out, I think those will be pretty popular. But everyone who's tuning in, you know what you're here for. You're here for the Book of Boba Fett After Show. And we do apologize for us getting this out here, way past Wednesday. But, this gives everybody time to watch the episode and get your own feelings about the episode and stuff, and then come to an after show and listen. And you can, reflect back on what we've seen and what we've watched. And there goes Danny, just already gave up.
He's like, the show. Let's get on with the show.
So
Much to discuss.
Let's get into this episode of Book of Boba Fett. This is chapter
All right.
2, Tribes of Tatooine.
Mm-hmm.
This episode was directed by Steph Green. I'm not familiar with their work. I'm not really sure what all they've directed and stuff. And this is actually the first show that I'm doing where I didn't write any notes down, so I'm going off.
Yeah, it's all right. I always go like that, but it's all up in here. I remember everything.
And I think I was so hyped and excited about the first episode till I just constantly wanted to watch it over and over again. This episode I've only seen one time, and it's by far better than the first episode. So,
it was a little longer too.
Yeah, it was. I think the runtime was about 53 minutes, somewhere around in there. I thought this episode was fantastic. Like this, I felt like I was sitting and watching, and when Boba's talking to the when they stop the train, we're talking to the Pikes. That was another thing. I really enjoyed seeing the Pikes. That's the first time we've ever seen them in live action besides Solo, and we don't want to talk about that dumpster fire of a movie.
Dumpster fire. It had some goods and bads, but mostly this is bad.
I'd give that movie a 6 or 7 out of 10. But no, like it was cool seeing the Pikes for the first time in live action, quote unquote. And I think they did such a great job with it. But when Boba was sitting there talking to the Pikes, and you had the Tuskens, and you had Boba Fett, and you had the Pikes, and they were talking about spice, I was like, this is probably the most authentic Star Wars I've seen out of anything Star Wars, besides The Mandalorian that Disney's done, and Clone Wars Season 7.
Authentic meaning like what specifically? Like how much they catch in details and stuff like that?
To me, Star Wars is not about Jedi, it's not about Sith. To me, Star Wars is about aliens in contact with other races of aliens, talking about spice and crime, underworld, character development, just real criminal, mafia gangster. To me, that's Star Wars. Yeah. And to just have, Tuskens and Pikes with Boba Fett in the middle, that's just authentic Star Wars to me.
I forgot Jedis even existed in the Book of Boba because it's like, what's the world like without Jedi? Like Mandalorian kind of introduced that, and then they kind of like mixed it around a bit. But this is like an episode of like, well, regular people, or just like regular species. Yeah,
regular Star Wars. There's no hero, villain, good guy, bad guy. It's Star Wars.
It's definitely not dry. There's a lot of character development, even with like small roles like the Pikes, even though we do know them from the Clone Wars, like we know like where they come from and how like ruthless they are. And it's like pretty interesting to see them on screen and everything and how they interact with the main characters. I like that.
And I like how anytime we see the Pikes, they've always got spice. That's all they got. They've always got
just spice. Whenever there's Pikes, there's spice.
So we start off with this episode, and we start off with Fennec bringing the prisoner to I guess you would call it now Boba's palace instead of
Mhm.
Jabba's palace. But you Black Series collectors don't hate me for this.
Oh no.
But when the Rancor, when they drop him down there, and you're like, is there gonna be a Rancor? Is there gonna be a Rancor? And then there's no
Yeah.
Rancor. I'm like, man, the Book of Boba's throwing shade at the Rancor has lab, you know, teasing everybody, and then nope, can't have the Rancor.
I honestly thought they were gonna actually bring one. It actually fooled me too, because I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. They were throwing back to Return of the Jedi.
Well, I felt like this episode, see, Star Wars was based around samurai and Western.
Mm.
And I felt like this episode, when I say the most authentic Star Wars, I mean, you had your Western from the train heist, you had your samurai from Boba getting his Tuscan robes.
Yeah. Or
And
like Native Americans.
yeah, like it was just, I don't know, it was just Star Wars, you know?
Mhm.
But I felt like this episode had a lot of Easter eggs to Return of the Jedi and A New Hope.
Mhm.
Because when Boba goes into that bar scene after he tracks down the biker gang,
Yeah.
which fun fact, those biker gangs on the back of their jackets, those letters translate to Tatooine. So they're
Yeah.
a Tatooine biker gang. I thought that was just so funny. But no, like those two people in those bar were Cammy and Fixer. And if you don't know who Cammy and Fixer are, those were two characters that were Luke's best friends. And at one point, Cammy was Luke's girlfriend, and they were actually in a deleted scene from A New Hope. So they've actually never really been introduced into canon until the Book of Boba Fett. But I thought it was pretty cool because
Mhm.
they were deleted scene characters.
That's pretty interesting.
So that was cool to see them. And I don't think we'll see any more of them. If we do, I don't
Yeah.
know. There's A New Hope. But then Return of the Jedi, like you said, the Rancor pit. That was seeing the door open up at the front with Fennec and that prisoner. That was just very Return of the Jedi like to me. And it got me thinking. With all these Luke Skywalker Easter eggs, are we going to see Luke Skywalker in the Book of Boba Fett?
Ooh. That's a possibility, but I feel like, dang, if you see Luke Skywalker, what would he do? What exactly would he? What would be his purpose in the show? Because,
Well, okay, so here's my theory.
all right,
Mando's going to show up.
yeah,
He's going to tell him what happened. He's going to be
Mhm.
like, this Jedi or whatever appeared. Boba's going to be like, who? Then
Mhm.
he's going to say, I don't know. He had a green lightsaber and he was in all black. And he took the
But
child. And
uh-huh.
Boba's going to be like, Order 66, just all up in his head.
That could. It would be nice to see a fight between Luke Skywalker and Boba Fett, like a proper fight, not like how he went out in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. So after we get done in the palace in the scene, they go and visit the mayor. And I
Mhm.
really liked the
Mhm.
Thorian. I don't remember his name, but his I don't know. It's just something about the way that they did that character.
Mhm.
He was very enticing. Like it captured my attention to watch him.
Yeah.
And so we get that, and I was absolutely, I figured we was gonna get Huts,
Mhm.
but I didn't expect them to bring them in the way they did, and I thought they looked great. I thought they did a great job with the CGI, and it almost was like a throwback to A New Hope, Jabba the Hutt,
Mhm.
or yeah, Phantom Menace, Jabba the Hutt, or whatever. You remember the old CGI and the
Yeah.
special editions?
I think
I
that was cut
thought, yeah,
out.
I thought they did a really great job with that. But what'd you think about what'd you think about that Hutt taking that little animal and like dabbing his sweat?
I thought it was I was shook because I was like, Java has cousins and then their brother and sister, and then I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, I'm like, that's very interesting that the Huts are still alive and they're still around, and I felt bad for the little peasants like carrying them.
Yeah, and the cool detail about that is that platform they was on, you could see it. It
Mm.
was kind of like bent in where they
Yeah.
were sitting. Just detail like that was pretty
For some
impressive.
reason, it reminded me of the movie 300 when they were carrying
Yeah, that guy.
Xerxes,
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
and then
And then we see like big boy Chewbacca.
yeah, that is actually Black
Mm.
Chrysanthemum. If
He's in the
I'm pronouncing,
comics. That's
he
what
is
I.
in Legends, and
Mhm,
him and Cobb Vanth are two legend characters that we've seen
mhm,
brought into canon. And if you're not familiar with the Black Wookiee, he has actually come in contact with Vader in the
mhm,
comics. He came in contact with Kenobi in the comics.
mhm.
And if you notice the way that him and Boba look at each other, it's almost like they know each other
Yeah.
because he's sitting, they're giving each other the death stare. And there's a bunch of Trendoshans, and we've been seeing Trendoshans everywhere in the
Mhm.
show. So it makes me wonder if Bosk, I'm about 98% sure we're going to see Bosk because the Trendoshans and the Wookiees, they hate each other.
But doesn't Boba Fett also? I think in the Empire Strikes Back, he has like a little like ponytail thing that's made out of
Wookiee braids.
Wookiee. So I'm pretty sure he has like beef with them in some sort.
Yeah. So I think that would be pretty cool. The last episode we have the
Mhm,
showdown. It's
mhm.
Boba and Bosk and who else knows
Yeah.
at that point. And then on the other side we've got the Black Wookiee and the Hutts. But I thought it was interesting how Fennec said, if you want to kill a Hutt, you have to get permission. They
Yeah.
never said who, so it makes me wonder who's above the Hutts. Like who?
And like maybe Darth Maul. Oh no, he's dead by then.
Darth Maul. Darth
Yeah.
Maul fell over the Hutts.
Yeah. Because it wasn't. Remember, he was in control of like the gangs, like the
Hmm.
underworld and all that. But I'm like, he's dead by then.
Is he?
Or so.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he
yeah.
died before New Hope. That's all.
So maybe
It
it's
could be
Kira.
some maybe, or maybe somebody else that's bigger. But it's like somebody we know, but we forgot about.
Yeah, I don't know who would be bigger though than Crimson Dawn.
Mhm. True. What if we see? I don't know. What if it's like Thrawn or something like that?
I don't think it'd be Thrawn because they're already putting him in the Ahsoka series.
That's true. But like,
I don't think it
you
would be Moff Gideon.
no, because he's like under arrest. So,
I really don't know.
see, but the way I see how the show ends is like eventually like Boba Fett gains the rule of Tatooine or whatever, and
Yeah,
then like Mando needs him to fight on Mandalore, and then like he leaves Fennec in charge, so it's just
yeah.
Boba and Mandalorian.
And I think one of us came up with that theory last week, and
Hmm.
I like that theory. I would like to see the show end like that.
Yeah, because it's like it's the end of an arc of a character, and like he has like depth to him now that like he has like meaning to his name. He's like a champion.
Yeah,
He conquered Tatooine.
and also throughout this episode, you hear who is it? Um, well, one of the Huts, and then the mayor. They both look at Boba and they call him a bounty hunter,
Hmm.
and he's like, "I'm not a bounty hunter."
Yeah.
So he's already got the reputation that he's a bounty hunter doing
Hmm.
something that he doesn't know how to do.
Yeah.
And so that makes me wonder if like it's gonna get to him and he's gonna be like, I've had enough of this. I don't want to be the crime boss anymore.
Hmm.
And he gives it to Fennec because Fennec seems like she knows how to run a business.
Hmm.
Based off the first episode, she's like, you need to do this. That way they'll fear you.
Hmm.
And he's like, I tend to rule with respect.
Yeah.
But that was pretty cool. That was about the first 11 minutes of the episode is present day time.
Hmm.
And then we go back to the flashbacks and just seeing Boba train with a gaffy stick, it just like scratches the itch for me behind my ear.
I think it was good that they showed that whole basically 2 episode process of like how he basically became a Tusken Raider, like
Yeah,
an outsider to be accepted. Because if they did maybe a little bit of that with like in Rey with in the Star Wars trilogy with the Force Awakens, it would have made her character better.
yeah.
And like it's like how did she get these skills within a short amount of time, And for the Book of Boba Fett, it took him 2 episodes, but within those two
And I
episodes,
feel
it was a
like
long period of time.
they got their point across very well and clear in those 2 episodes.
Hmm.
And the way that the episode ends is, he's got his robes, he's got his Mandalorian season 2 look.
Hmm.
So they could take the flashbacks in any direction now. But I think because there's no need to tell the story of him with the Tuscans anymore.
Yeah.
But I think the next step, if I was over there writing for this show, the next step I would take is I would put Boba in the tribe that attacks Mos Pelgo, which is Cobb Vanth City, and that would explain how Boba knew Cobb Vanth and how he had his armor.
Yeah.
Because we hear him say in Mandalorian, you know, I want my armor back that you got from Cobb Vanth. So how does he know Cobb Vanth? I mean, obviously he's got to encounter him at some point.
Maybe. I feel like those two characters, Cobb Vanth and Boba Fett, don't really get along in some way.
Yeah, well, that goes into my head theory. You know, what if Boba was one of the Tuskens that attacked the village?
Maybe as disguise, but why would he attack the village? Because I don't think Boba is a bad person, but he's not a good person. But like, there needs to be a motive of some sort.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Maybe he's trying to theory just popped into my head.
what's the theory?
So what if we know that there's different tribes? We hear the chieftain say there's different tribes on Tatooine. Some of them are savages, some of them are more respectful.
Yeah.
What if one of these savage tribes are attacking Mos Pelgo and Boba is the one that saves him? Then he meets Cobb Vanth. And then he's like, no, I saw him. Cobb Vanth's like, thanks, I buttered off some jaws.
And maybe they fight
So
in a
that
way,
would
but
that
then
would
it's
put
broken
Boba
up.
Fett,
So yeah.
that would give Boba Fett the initiative to officially meet Cobb Vanth without just doing it for no reason.
Yeah. It's a lot of interesting points. What else in the episode? What did I feel? I felt
thought it-
like it was going in the right direction. It's a little slow because they need to be they were really focusing on the Tusken Raiders and Boba's journey on becoming basically a Tusken Raider. But now since that's done, like I wonder what else they're gonna talk about. I feel like it's gonna be like maybe like 10 minutes of the present and then the rest is gonna be flashbacks explaining like
Well, see,
other
I
things.
one thing I don't want this show to do is spend so much time in flashbacks and not enough time in present day. I feel like it needs to be half and half, you know, one episode flashback time, one episode present day time. I feel like that's how it needs to go. Because, you know, you can only do so much with the flashbacks. Yeah, you've got a 5-year span between him coming out of the Sarlacc up until Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But you can easily tell the story of 5 years like they did with this past episode, you know. Give us a 35-minute episode of nothing but flashbacks and make every question answered in those 35 minutes.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty cool how we finally get to see how a gaffy stick is made. You have to we finally get a POV view of what it's like to have spice and death sticks in Star Wars in this episode.
A deep what it's more deeper than the Attack of the Clones because they were like death sticks and stuff like that. I'm like, man, they're just bringing old terminology from the prequels. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. But no, one thing I didn't like about this episode is I didn't really understand the whole point of the lizard. Like, why do you have to have a lizard up your nose in order to find a piece of wood in
I think
Tatooine?
I think they just wanted to like again like it's Star Wars, like it's weird like
Yeah.
sometimes like with those kind of things and like
Dave Filoni's like, yeah, the kids will love it. It's for the
Yeah, like,
fans.
it's like he puts a little Geico in his head and tell him to put 15% more on that wood or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah. Give us 15 minutes with a gecko in Boba's head, and we'll give you 15% or more on your car insurance.
Yeah, it's just like he finds a piece of wood, but it's I thought it was clever how like what is this piece of wood like, and then like that's when he starts making his like stick,
Yeah.
which is
That
which
was
is cool.
also very tribal. Like that, I feel like that was Boba's moment of when they accepted him in the tribe is when he makes his own gappy stick.
Yeah.
But no, when he's in that, you know, vision quest or whatever you want to call it, he we see him, you see the waves and the water crashing up against the tree, and I think that's, you know, obviously a Camino, you know, thought memories. And you know, we even see a de-aged Daniel Logan as Boba Fett, you know, watching Slave One fly off on Camino. And that's actually the first time we've ever got to see what it's like to see Boba watching his father leave for a mission.
Mhm.
And but if you notice when he's wrapped up in all those bonds and it goes back and forth from the Sarlacc back and forth to the bonds, I feel like that's all the weights that's been on Boba's shoulders for ever since he lost his dad. Because if you
Mhm.
go back to the Clone Wars, he was put through it pretty rough in the Clone Wars for a kid.
Yeah.
And if you're hanging out with bounty hunters by the age of 13, you've had a pretty rough childhood.
Yeah. Wasn't he in the Coruscant jail too at one point?
Yeah, he
Prison?
was. Yeah,
Yeah.
when Kenobi was undercover as Rako
Yeah.
Hardin.
That's
Yeah,
pretty,
he's like, you got a problem with Bosk, you got a problem with me.
I know, right? That's crazy. It's crazy how he's like he's important in Star Wars, but at the same time he's kind of like the background important.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like
He's like the
not.
Sifo-Dyas,
Hmm.
but on the different scale. Sifo-Dyas is very important, but he's a background character.
Hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of background characters that create the foundation of the main storyline. Like
Right.
if you think about just the main storyline, it's pretty vanilla plain, but all these like side characters like Qui-Gon, like he had to die, Darth Maul had to die, and like Dooku had to die for all these events to take place and stuff like that. And General Grievous, like they have really good side main characters, but then once we start expanding into the side main characters, they actually have good stories
Right.
besides Han Solo.
We don't know enough about Han Solo, in my opinion.
Yeah, we don't honestly. I don't really care. Like it's not important to me. Like he birthed Kylo, and look what happened. He had to put the
Yeah.
trilogy on his back to save the movies. Like whose characters would I not want to see? If they made a show about Leia, I would not watch that. Like it's just like
I would watch anything as long as it's not about Rey.
that is true. I mean, if it comes to that, I guess, but like at the same time, I'm not like hyped about it. Like when I'm hyped for something, like it's if it's a good feeling, but when
I
it's
would
like
probably watch the first episode and be like, yeah, no, I'm not watching it.
yeah, exactly. It's like why? Like I don't know, watch them make like a Chewbacca show or something like that. Like the only
Yeah, I would definitely watch a Chewbacca show.
like I feel like the first episode would be about Kashyyyk, the invasion and everything. I'd be like, all right, after that, it's probably hot
Well,
garbage.
it depends on who's behind it. If I
That's
see Dave Filoni's name behind that Ray show, yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
yeah. He's got to do a lot to fix that character. It's like I don't
Yeah,
know.
for real. But no, so we let's see what else happens. I was actually thinking about it after we did last week's show. We were talking about, how the Tuscans knew water was buried in, they call them black melons, as Boba
Because
said.
didn't they say there was an ocean on Tatooine?
Yeah, there was an ocean at one point, but Boba calls it, or one of the characters calls it milk. So it makes me think, maybe that's like a coconut in the Star Wars universe. Coconut water is basically just watered down milk.
Yeah.
And but no, I was actually thinking about it. And in Mandalorian season 2, episode 1, when him and Cobb Vanth are talking to the Tuscans, they're actually drinking out of those pods. And Cobb Vanth even has one. And he like drinks out of it. He's like, looks at it. And I totally forgot that we've already seen those, but I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
So those are not new, but we did learn that they're called black melons.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Boba just automatically taking control and saying that the Pikes, they can pass through here, but they're gonna have to pay? And like I was watching it, I was like, who gave Boba authority to say all this?
I don't know. It's just like I mean, it was his idea to like heist the train or like yeah, to basically hijack the train and everything. So I guess like if his plan worked, he was rewarded like to be part of something, because like I don't know, it's just maybe like at the moment like they were like because the Tuscan Raiders only care about the simple things, like but I guess Boba was more of like a businessman, like trying to find like good terms, because it's like look how much it costs to like take it down, and then on both sides lost a lot of like soldiers and stuff. And it's like it's just maybe he was just wanted to compromise because just like he's like kind of vulnerable because he doesn't have his armor. So
Yeah, he's like, what's the point in hiding behind a helmet? I
like
now have.
he literally pulls that Tony Stark quote from Spider-Man, no, was it Homecoming? Like, if you're nothing without the suit, you shouldn't have it at all. Like,
Yeah,
that kind of
exactly.
thing.
I thought it was funny though how he's teaching them to ride the speeders, and he's like, it's like a bantha.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, I thought that was a funny, interesting like sequence, but it had meaning to it. Like, they learned
Yeah.
how to ride it, and then that's what led to the next events.
And speaking of banthas, poor
Mhm.
banthas. Like
Yeah,
they
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 just get
get it
abused.
rough. Yeah,
They just
they
get
get
shot
abused.
and they die.
Mandalorian, they're used to strap bombs to them, and basically they're practically kamikaze banthas. And then Book of Boba Fett, they're just target practice banthas. Like
I
so,
know.
it's so wrong. Bantha lives matter. We need to start that trend.
Oh gosh.
Hashtag Bantha lives matter.
Not in the Mandalorian or the Boba Fett.
Yeah, not in Star Wars, they don't.
Nope.
But I'm excited to see. I think in the present time, Boba will have the support from the Tuscans at some point, maybe the last
Yeah.
episode.
Hmm.
It'll be like their team up. But when he's getting his robes or his when he's making his gaffy stick, that's very similar to me to the Mandalorian when the armorer is making his armor and he's sitting there watching. The only difference is Boba's making his own, where Din Djarin didn't. But it's the same scene sequence.
But yes, but also remember when they were building his armor, like he had flashbacks of like
Right,
the Clone Wars. Yeah, that's pretty much the difference.
right. Um,
But
I
other than
really,
that,
I
it's
really,
still good. The armor looks clean with the
mhm.
Boba Fett. It's clean. I say that is one of my favorite armors, and then the Empire Strikes Back one.
Yeah, my favorite is Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see. I hope that we really get to see a Tusken without its helmet.
Yeah, what do they look like underneath? Are
And
they just people? You think
and
they're
I
just
would
people?
I would love, all right, so I'm kind of torn between this.
Mhm,
But we know that Jawas, we've never seen a Jawa's face,
mhm.
but they're so jerks, man. They're just jerks.
They are.
And
They're just the scum of the desert.
I would love to see Boba just brutally melee one of these Jawas to death and then like take his hood off and see a Jawa's face. But I know that's not going to happen because Jawas have never been unmasked.
Mhm.
And to keep the illusion and the mystery alive, they're never going to reveal it.
Nope.
But I would love to
Maybe.
see Boba and I would love to see Boba just completely destroy the Jawa that knocked the life out of him in episode 1.
Yeah. We're not gonna know who's that one unless like he has like something that Boba recognizes.
I mean, if Din Djarin can disintegrate Jawas, why can't we see Boba Fett just feed them to Banthas?
True. You never know. Maybe we'll see something like when
Stormtroopers and Jawas are the
you
rad
know what I'm thinking
dogs.
about. Boba Fett has his ship.
He
Where
does.
has his ship been during like the time he was like technically dead?
Well, my prediction is that he left it parked at Jabba's palace
Hmm.
because in the trailer, in one of the TV spots, we see Boba in his Tuscan robes, peeking over like rocks, looking at Jabba's palace, or it looks like Jabba's palace, but it kind of looks like the back of the palace. So I think that's the hangar. So in the next episode, I think we're going to see that shot, and it's actually him going to get Slave One
Yeah.
because he does have it in the Mandalorian, and he's still wearing the Tuscan robes.
Mhm.
But in the Book of Boba Fett, we don't know it yet. And in Return of the Jedi, he didn't have it either.
No.
He was on the sail barge. So I believe it's parked at Jabba's palace. But what I really want to know, and I really, really, I really hope whoever directed this episode, of whichever episode this is going to happen,
Uh-huh.
Hondo Onaka has got to be in it, and we've got to see how Boba gets Slave One back. Because in the Clone Wars, it ends with Hondo having Slave One. And then we get to Mandalorian season 2, Boba Fett has it.
Maybe he kills Hondo, honestly.
I don't see why they wouldn't put Hondo in the show. They've got every reason to. I mean, for goodness sakes, he's at Galaxy Edge.
That's true. That is true. He stole the Falcon or borrowed it, as they would say.
But I would just love to see him come in and maybe he's like sitting there, you know, maybe Boba hasn't met him in a long time, and he walks up and he's like, "Boba, old friend."
And like shoots him in the head, but he missed. Like he ducks and all that. Yeah, I
But
could see
they got it.
something.
I mean, if they can do Trandoshans and if they can bring in Black Chrysanthemum from Legends, surely they can put Hondo of Naka.
True. I think they got definitely there's gonna be a lot of legends in this.
Yeah, I feel like the next 5 episodes are really gonna be really, really good because I feel like the first 2 episodes had to be about
An
how did
introduction.
Boba get from here to there.
Mhm.
Now we know there's no reason for them to drag it out anymore.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the next 5 episodes, and we've seen, I think, probably 99% of what we've seen in the trailers.
Mhm.
I know there's a few scenes that we haven't seen yet, like when he's sitting down at the table with the Trandoshans, and we haven't seen the Bomar monk crawling on the rocks in front of Jabba's
Yeah.
palace, and the scene I was talking about with him looking over the rocks at the palace. Other than that, I think that's the only 3 scenes that we've not seen yet, and I want to say those happen in the next episode. And we
Yeah.
all know how Star Wars is with these live action TV shows. The last half of the show, you have no clue what to expect because no footage is in the trailers.
Nope. But they do those TV spots that you randomly see on YouTube and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
but there are a lot of repeat scenes though.
Yeah,
They're
it's
not
only
new
like maybe
footage.
2 news scenes, 2 shots. That's
Yeah,
probably.
but by the end of this series, I want to know how Boba Fett got Slave One back.
Mhm.
I want to know how Boba Fett knows Cobb Vanth. I want to know how he met Finnick. I want to know
That was already explained
how is it explained.
because he was the one that saved her in the Mandalorian, like because
Yeah,
she
but
was.
what I'm saying though, did they know each other before then though? Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Those are the 3 big questions that I want to know. But I
Mhm.
also want to know how is Boba dealing with Mace Windu?
Mhm. Maybe
If
maybe
you know
if they bring him back.
if they can bring back Luke Skywalker on a TV budget, why can they not bring back somebody huge like Mace Windu,
Yeah.
Cad Bane?
Honestly, with Samuel Jackson, they can just do like like a deep edit on his face, to make him look
Yeah,
slightly younger or something like that.
yeah. I mean, in Kenobi, I really hope we're going to see a Qui-Gon Jinn cameo at least somehow. Force Ghost or something.
Yeah,
And they
I'm
don't have to do
excited for
much.
Obi-Wan. There's a rumor about the Obi-Wan show coming out in March. I just had
March.
March of 2022. And I had always had a feeling I was like, that's a good time it comes out because I'm like my birthday's around that
So
time.
that makes me wonder if Bad Batch season 2 or Andor is going to be May 4th.
Maybe
Because
Bad Batch because that's when it came out.
I have a very good feeling that something is going to be on May 4th. You can't have all these shows and not put a release date on May the 4th for one of them.
Mhm.
But I don't really know when Mando season 3 is supposed to drop. I know it's going to be around December, but I'm not really sure. But by the end of this episode, I want all the flashback or the end of the series, I want all the flashbacks to be in the loop so we don't have to go back to them in the last episode.
Yeah.
And I want present day time to be resolved and have Boba Fett's story ended.
Mhm.
Because after this series, I don't really want to see Boba Fett appear in anything else unless it's a cameo.
Yeah.
Because Boba Fett he's one of the most iconic Star Wars characters, but he's also a character with not a lot of story that needs 2 seasons to tell.
Yeah.
So,
There's a lot
but
to cover.
it was cool seeing legend characters
Mhm.
become canon on screen in live action at that, not animated. We got Cobb Vanth, we got Black Chrysanthemum.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure who else is there? Was there anybody in Mandalorian that was in Legends? I'm not real sure. I would like to see Dengar come back at some point.
Dingar. Yeah.
I've heard rumors that Dengar was actually in Rise of Skywalker.
Really?
Yeah,
All right. You gotta Google this.
but it's not like Dengar. He's like wearing new armor or something.
Oh, nah. Oh, the toilet paper head. That's the guy. Yeah, nah. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't believe that
I
either.
don't know. It's
I don't think
Star Wars
I don't
thing.
think J.J. Abrams would go that far.
I don't even think he knows about Dengar, knowing
We
that
all
he's
know
gonna.
from Kathleen Kennedy coming up to J.J. Abrams and saying, "Who is Luke Skywalker?" If you don't know about that, just go look that up. Yes, she asked J.J. Abrams, "Who is Luke Skywalker?" when they were
Like
filming
a
Episode
serious
7.
question.
I believe it was a serious question. Yes,
Oh boy. Oh,
it may have been like her just being like, "Who is Luke Skywalker?" Or it could have been, "Who is Luke Skywalker? Who's this
I mean,
guy?"
I don't think that question is relevant because you have 3
Obviously,
films.
the movies speak for himself. Maybe it was a real question.
I don't know. It's on the episode. Oh, I remember them teasing about Luke Skywalker showing up like in the middle of the movie, like at the snow scene. But like, nope, he's only in there for like 10 seconds. He doesn't say one word.
30 seconds. All you do is see him take a hood off. That's all you see him do.
Yeah, that was like when I saw that, I was like, really? Like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like they just leave it at that. Like,
I remember, if I remember right, first time I watched The Force Awakens, I went through the whole movie and I was like, "Where's Luke Skywalker?"
mhm.
And then you hear, Ray gonna go look for Luke Skywalker or whatever. Then I'm like, "Oh yes, here we go, here we go, here we go." Then we see her climb, and I'm like, they're building this dramatic entrance to this legendary Star Wars character. Then we see him, and I'm like, okay, okay. Roll credits. I'm like, I gotta wait another 2 years to see what happens. Like, what? He didn't even say anything.
And then the second sequel movie started, he literally throws a lightsaber.
Yeah. After I seen that, I was like, what are you doing?
That's when Star Wars died, and then it came back with the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
There was that small period of time between
Yeah.
the Last Jedi and basically Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker, or before the Mando, where Star Wars was like all over the place. Like,
Yeah. But no, this episode of the Book of Boba Fett, it was a great episode. I give it a 9 out of 10. But it's one of those episodes where it's like you can watch it one time as long as you pay attention.
yeah.
You don't have to watch it again, and it's still one of the greatest episodes you've ever seen at first viewing. You don't have to watch it again, and there's not much to talk about it either because this is just how Boba Fett got from point A to point B. That's all this episode is. But there's so much greatness in this episode. Till it's like you want to talk about it, but after you say the big things that you want to talk about, there's nothing else to talk about the episode because you're just like, can't wait for next Wednesday.
That's true. I gave it a solid 8 out of 10 because I liked how I wanted to know more about like the present time Boba, and then like the
Yeah,
past was like, okay, yeah, we need to talk about this, but I was like, let's see more of the present, because if they
yeah,
showed more of the present, because that's what the story is basically based on, like, because we're trying to move forward and lead it and connect it to the Mandalorian.
right.
But yeah, but other than that, it was a solid 8. Like it was good to watch. Like it's like that one time when it's like episode you watch one time, and that's all you need to understand that one. But it's
So
like really
I
good.
I feel like maybe this next episode we're gonna see Boba go to Jabba's palace. We're gonna see him get the slave one, and then we'll have a little bit more of the back of the flashbacks. But I feel like most of the next episode is gonna be more about the present time. And we're gonna
Yeah.
see him, talking to the Trandoshans, and we're gonna see that scene from the trailer. And then, that episode, I think that episode will be around the 40-minute mark, if that. I don't think it's gonna be a very long episode. But chapter 4, I think, is gonna be maybe the last episode that we see any flashbacks. I think episode 4 is gonna be the episode that ties in, flashback point A to present day time point B.
Yeah.
And then, you've got 5, 6, and 7 to absolutely unleash anything Star Wars that they want to put in it. I feel like that would be the greatest way. Episode 4, you can have him meeting Cobb Vanth. You can have him go all the way up until he's overlooking Mando on the speeder at Tatooine. And then end. I feel like episode 4 could end the same way Mando season 2, episode 1 ended.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I feel like that would be a great ending to that episode. And then, like I said, 5, 6, and 7, you can just absolutely go crazy with these episodes in present day time. Yes, present day time.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait till Wednesday to see. But I really expect by episode 5 that we're going to see a big character cameo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're going to do it within the first few episodes because we've got to understand Boba's story.
It's like in the last arc of the episodes, like if there were 4 left, the first 2 are like building up, and then like the last 2 are like the climax of it. Like
yes,
it's like it like barely reaches that point.
Yes,
of like the climax. Like it's like, are they gonna blow it? But like no, they don't. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah, and see, Mando season 1, episodes 1, 2, and 3, those were big build up, how we got to here, how we got to there. And then you got the 3 middle episodes, and it was kind of like, quote, filler, even though they're not really filler. There's stuff in those episodes that are great and important, but it's not really, what are we doing here?
Exactly.
And then the last 2 episodes, spectacular climax of episodes. Then you get to Mando season 2, and it's like every episode is just bam, 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 bam. Every episode, 1 through whatever, I think it was 8 of season 2. It's just every episode was just, you're on the edge of your seat for every episode. I'll never forget it. I've never experienced anything like that while watching Star Wars, and I'll never forget it.
I'll never forget the last episode of Mandalorian season 2 because I was like, this show started off as a hardcore slow western, and then now look where it's at. Like
now it's dead samurai hash and dash. And then you get the Book of Boba Fett, and I don't really know how to explain it yet because we're only 2 episodes in.
We need like at least like halfway mark to get a good like in depth about it.
But my point being though is Mando season 1 is dramatically different than Mando season 2.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's not even in this. It's not even in the same group. Like it's completely separated from each other. Like they're on opposite ends of the table.
Yeah,
they're both great. They both deliver, but one does it in a different way than the other one did.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I'll never forget it when I was watching the season finale of Mando season 2. I'll never forget it. The whole time, Luke Skywalker was there. I was not sitting at once. I was standing the whole time with my hands like this. And my wife was watching it with me, and she was like, she likes Star Wars, but she's not like me. And she's like, "You're crazy, man." I could just think what she was thinking. And then when R2 came on, I'm just like, "It's R2." And she was probably like, "What's wrong with you? He's just a droid. You don't understand. He's a Skywalker."
The real Skywalker.
He is. He's a real Skywalker. From the very first movie, he was a Skywalker. And if you think about it, 3PO is too.
That is true. Even though he is the one that gets bullied a lot.
Yeah, he is. But I'm excited to see where they go with this show. Like I said, overall, right now, both episodes together, I give this show an easy 9 out of 10 with both episodes combined.
Yeah, I'd give it like a half less than you because I still need to see like more because I want to finish the first 4 episode arc because they're going to be very different from the last 4.
Well, the reason
it's like really hard to tell.
The reason I say it's a 9 out of 10 is Boba Fett is, easily one of my top 3 favorite Star Wars characters.
Yeah.
And just to see Star Wars that I've only dreamed about, Boba Fett inside the Sarlacc, and it not be Robot Chicken.
Robot Chicken.
It's just I can't believe that I'm actually watching this under Disney. I can't believe Disney's doing this. But no, I was listening to another after show the other day.
Mhm.
Shout out Rebel Force Radio. Those guys are hilarious, and I'll probably be meeting them at ICC Con in Nashville,
Mhm.
Tennessee. They're gonna be there, so I'm gonna go chat with them. And
Yeah.
maybe we can do a what you call it, collaboration.
Yeah,
Rodeo
that'd be
Radio
cool.
and Rebel Force
Should
Radio
we
on the same show.
should we trade shirts if they got any or something like that?
Yeah, so that'd be good. But anyways, now I was listening to their show and they were I done lost my train of thought, man. Where was I going? What was I talking about?
No, you were talking about earlier. You were watching their show because you were earlier talking about we were talking about the arc. You were rating the episodes, right? You said
Yeah.
9 out of 10. I said 8, 8.5, and then we were talking about. I don't even know. I honestly don't even know.
This
Like,
is
you're
so
just
unprofessional of me. This is
like,
why I take
but
notes.
like I was just like listening. Okay, and then I'm like, okay, and then you were talking about the other show. They said they were funny, and then they were talking about like other stuff. But I was like, okay, what was the other stuff? Because I'm like, I don't know what they were talking about. You got to tell me before we go.
Yeah, I done totally forgot. I'm real sorry. I apologize to everybody. Anyways, go check out that show, Rebel Force Radio, if you haven't. Those guys are hilarious, man. They're so funny. But no, I'm really excited to see where the show goes. Just seeing Boba Fett come back, it's just phenomenal. Now I remember. Yes, this is hilarious. So they were talking about episode 1, and you see the biker gang and they're spray painting their symbol on that building. And they were saying, that in Huttese, that symbol translates to the letter K.
Yeah.
And there was 2 symbols, and they were saying KK. And one of the guys over there said that stands for Kathleen Kennedy. They were
Yeah.
just joking, but I thought that was hilarious.
I hope not.
Yeah, I really hope not. But no, apparently KK is some sort of like biker gang in Star Wars. I think it's Legends, but I'm not real sure. If you're a fan of the Star Wars Legend comics, then if you're pretty big and deep to those, then you know more than I do because I hate to say this, but I've actually never officially read a Star Wars comic.
Mhm.
But I understand that in the comics there's so many characters and stories and possibilities that happen. Like for instance, Dengar is the one that helped Boba back to health after he got out of the Sarlacc, and we
Yeah.
didn't see that in canon. Instead, we saw Jawas steal his armor and knock his life out of his face.
Yeah, he just gets like the Jawlocks are the
Yeah, they're
Jawas.
jerks, man. Like if
I'm
I ever
glad
come
Mando
across a
incinerated
Jawa,
one.
if I was in Star Wars and I ever come across a Jawa, I would just walk up and just start kicking them off. They're
I
just jerks,
I
man.
thought it was really funny when Mando like incinerated like the Jawa. I was like, wow, they actually showed this in Star Wars. I'm like, all right, we had to start off with
Yes.
something small before we blow up something big. All right.
Yeah, but the Jawas are jerks to him, man. They electrocute him and let him fall 25 feet to the ground off their sand crawler,
That
man.
is true. Yeah, he did eat it.
Yeah, they're jerks. They're jerks. But they wasn't a jerk to Cobb Vanth. That's what I don't understand. They rescued him.
Yeah, they were like talking to him and giving. I don't know, maybe because I don't know. They got something against like Mandalorians or something.
Yeah, maybe they do. Maybe they're like, oh, this guy's not a real Mandalorian. He's cool.
It's like, all right, fine by me.
And then he says to buy the army, he has to buy the armor, and they're like, well, time to get this guy beaten.
Anyone who wears Mando armor gets jumped by the Jawas.
Yeah. Well, I don't really understand that though. Anything Star Wars we've seen, people are always rude to Mandalorians.
That's true.
I don't get that. But
Because they're warriors. They're like you feel their presence because they're like top dog kind of thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would like to see since we're having so many flashbacks of Boba as a kid, I would like to see just one brief 5-second cameo of Jango Fett in one of these flashbacks. In the flesh. Maybe it's Boba's POV from the cockpit. He's fighting Kenobi. Just that, something.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool to see. I'd like to see that actually.
Yeah, because I like seeing Slave One, but let's be honest, if we saw Jango Fett in the book of Boba Fett for 5 seconds. You know, I feel like I need to set my camera up to record myself watching these next few episodes, because
Yeah.
if I get a huge reaction response to one of these episodes, I'm definitely going to post it in our videos.
I hope so. We'll save it for the last arc. That's what we'll do.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to do it with the first and second episode, but I'm glad I didn't, because there wasn't really any like jaw dropping moments.
Yeah. They save it for the end. That's what I noticed with them.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that's about all we've got time to talk about in this
Yeah.
episode for tonight. There's not really much we can say
Mhm.
more, but maybe by the last episode we might try to do an Instagram live while we record. That
Yeah,
way
that'd be
people
cool.
can chime in and chat and give us their takes, questions, and
Mm.
whatnot, what we thought about the episode or whatever.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, we're doing the free hoodie giveaway if we can get our YouTube to 100 subscribers. I think right now we're at 33 or 34, so it's doubled within a week and a half. So we really appreciate that. We're getting a lot of more views than we was back whenever we started doing the podcast back up again. So we appreciate that. We're really grateful for anyone listening.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's
Come
get
on, keep the train, keep those train, get the hype up. Let's go, everybody.
Yeah,
Do it for Boba. Do it for
Start that
Grogu.
hashtag. Bantha lives matter.
Oh my! Watch Dave Filoni hear about this and just incinerate one of
Oh
them.
man, all right, Dave Filoni, John Favreau, whoever's watching, because we know you are, because you keep putting Rhodians in these shows. If you're watching, hashtag Bantha Lives Matters. Put that on a biker gang outfit.
Ooh.
Yes. Or have that as the new Tuscan. This is the way. Instead, it's Bantha Lives Matter.
Oh gosh.
That's
Everybody
so
just ignore him.
But no, we really appreciate everyone listening. We hope you have a good time with us, just as much as Danny has a good time with me.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, can't say the same for me though. But
Oh.
I'm just kidding. No, I really like talking to you, bro.
Yeah.
We're more than friends now. We're on brother
Yeah,
level. So
of course. Oh man, you're gonna make me cry on the air.
and spoiler alert, but we've actually never officially met in person. So
That is true. That is crazy.
that is crazy. So we're gonna have to do that at a convention.
We do gotta do convention. I do want to go to the Comic-Con one in San Diego.
Yeah, I would love to.
I'll try to see the one in the one you're going to, because if Ian McGlennon's still on schedule, that'd be pretty interesting. That'd be like a once in a lifetime opportunity for me.
Yeah.
And
If you can't do this year, we'll try for next year, and that way we'll have plenty of time to plan for it. And if you've never been to one of these conventions, you can
I
check.
have not actually.
They're a lot of fun. But they can be really pricey. But if you watched our interview with Michael Havens, I've seen his process that he's done in the past, and it's by far the cheapest convention I've ever seen. So if you want to go to that convention, you can check them out at iccon.com. It's in Nashville, Tennessee. You can get your tickets there. You can meet me.
Yeah, that'll be my first time being in Nashville, Tennessee. So let's see how it goes.
Party City, man.
Party City?
And I don't mean the costume shop.
It's just like, oh, you said Party City. I'm like, yeah, the store. It's like right next to it, like something like that.
It's Party Town, man.
That's good.
No, it's a great town. It's about like Atlanta, but it's different than Atlanta. And if you've never been to Atlanta, Atlanta's really cool. I live about 3 hours from Atlanta, so it's very, very busy, bright, just always popping city.
That's cool. Yeah, but I know when you're in Cali, especially in Los Angeles.
I have never been to California.
Well, you got to prepare for the cold mornings, the good 65 degrees, and then.
Oh, give me a break, man! Here in Alabama, 65 degrees is heaven.
You're gonna be wearing shorts here all the time. I guarantee.
This past week, it was 17 degrees in my house.
Ooh.
There was snow on the ground. Ice on the road.
Cali's is the perfect weather. That's all I can say.
So, but if you've been with us from the beginning, we appreciate you still sticking around. If this is your first time or your second time or your 15th time listening to us, we appreciate you just the same.
Yep.
Help us grow on our social media, or YouTube, or Twitter.
Yep, I've now expanded onto TikTok. We are now moving forward.
It's half Rodian Radio, half my personal on TikTok. So,
Same. I'm trying to do like both, but it's in production right now. I'm still
yeah,
developing on
yeah.
how TikTok goes there.
I might look into creating a TikTok for us, and we can share that. So
That'd be cool. Yeah, because can you live stream on TikTok? I don't know that
I think you
because
can. Yes, yes. Yeah, you could do on TikTok, and I could do on the Instagram. There we go. We got two different ways of
There
live
you
stream.
go. Just expanding.
So, check out our merch on our Instagram if you want to, buy something from us. You can send us a direct message on Instagram or either an email at rodianradiopc.com or
Mhm.
at gmail.com. Like I said, I've got a new shirt that I'm working on. Still trying to work on it. It probably won't be ready until about the end of February. So hopefully by the time the book of Boba Fett ends, I can have it out. Really, I'm excited to do these after shows, but I'm also ready to not do these after shows because I really want to get back into our regular shows.
I know it's like, but this only like what until February, right? It's like
February
it's not,
9th. So it's not that
yeah,
long. It's about a month away.
almost yeah, about a month. Yeah,
Yeah.
not
And
too
I
bad.
haven't really seen any breaking news yet, Star Wars
Mhm.
universe, but
Or we could also do like wait until we finish the half mark of the arc and then review everything, and then the second arc like and then we do all
that'd
that.
be pretty cool.
Yeah, instead of doing every episode, because then like we have the buildup of all of them, and then we explain it to like everybody
Oh,
like
don't
all
worry.
once.
After the show's out, we're definitely probably gonna get Ollie on here, and we're gonna do
Oh
a
yeah,
rewatch or something.
rewatch. Uh-huh.
So yeah, that's another thing we need to do. We need to do Rogue One. We haven't done that film commentary yet with Ollie.
Yeah,
Ollie, if you're listening, which I don't know if you are, get on here,
we hope
man.
you are.
Yeah, get on here, man. We miss you.
We do.
Miss you. But I think that's gonna do it. Anything you want to say, Danny, before we sign out?
Since like thank you guys for
All
like,
right, well, that's gonna do it for Rodeo Radio.
well, yeah. See what I got to deal with,
Oh,
people.
sorry, what was that? Did you say Fox did nothing wrong?
Hey, let's not get personal here.
Yeah, you got about 3 minutes to wrap that conversation up. So
Alrighty, so just like thank everybody for like joining us and listening, and we do really appreciate it. Also, we do wear the merchandise. I'm wearing currently the Rodian Radio shirt. It actually fits
uh,
very nice.
I'm not wearing anything right now.
Oh, he's not a diehard Rodian Radio like me, but it's pretty fun. I do wish you guys follow our Instagrams. Like the Galactic Customs and then DCRZ Boy _ photos. We appreciate your follows, your comments, and everything like that. It's what keeps us going. We appreciate the feedback. We do want you guys to email us. I'm sure the email is under what is it, Rodian Radio
PC@gmail.com.
gmail.com. Yep. Yeah, just like we just like the feedback and everything. That's what keeps us going, gives us new ideas. Like just interacting with the guests. That's what we find cool about it. Yep.
Yep. Yep. We love feedback. We'll definitely give your feedback here on the show. We'll respond to your feedback
Yeah.
on the show. So, but until next time, that'll do it for the Book of Boba Fett After Show Chapter 2, Tribes of Tatooine.
Mm-hmm.
We're back. Join us back next week as we go through Chapter 3.
Yep.
Tashi Station returns.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's another thing we didn't talk about, Tashi Station. But no, that's about all the time we got for tonight's
All right.
episode. So we'll have to wait and get that next week. So until next time, this is Chase.
This is Danny.
And we are signing out. May the force be with you here on Rodian Radio.
Yeah.